This is Mirabella's kitchen, and today I'm making meatballs. I freestyle parts of this recipe. I'm really excited to share it with you guys today. As a safety tip, remember to hone your knives. I start by preparing ingredients for the sauce and a few for the meatballs. I mince 8 cloves of garlic. Half of the garlic will be for the meatballs and half of the garlic will be for the sauce, so I separate it. I dice 1 large yellow onion for the sauce. And I run my knife through it one more time for good measure to make sure the pieces are smaller. I take half a bunch of parsley, I cut off the stems, roll it into a little bundle, and begin to mince it. Half the parsley will be for the meatballs and half the parsley will be for the sauce. I have a saucepan heating up over medium heat. I add olive oil to the pan. I add the diced onion, cook it for 3 minutes until it starts to become translucent. Next I add half the garlic to the onions. I add 1 28-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes, 1 28-ounce can of tomato sauce, 1 cup chicken stock, half a tube or so of tomato paste, a palmful of minced parsley, 4 teaspoons of sugar, teaspoon of dried basil, 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. That's going to add a lot of heat to this sauce, 1 teaspoon of coarse kosher salt, and some freshly ground black pepper, probably about half a teaspoon or so, and 1/4 of a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. And I mix that all together so it's nice and homogeneous. I bring the sauce up to a boil and then reduce it down to a simmer over low heat and cook it for at minimum 30 minutes, upwards of an hour, to really bring out the flavors of the sauce. I've cooked my sauce for maybe an hour and a half at this point. I take my immersion blender to blend the sauce. I would like a smoother sauce. Now it's time for the meatballs, the star of the show. I take 2 pounds of ground beef. I use a 85 to 15 ratio. I add the ground beef to a mixing bowl. I take 1.5 to 2 cups of plain breadcrumbs, the rest of the minced garlic, 2 extra large eggs. I don't really measure my seasoning, so I'm going to ballpark in the description. I use onion powder, freshly ground black pepper, coarse kosher salt, some minced parsley, a little bit of tomato paste. This is something new for me. Some grated Parmesan cheese, and a splash of water. And now I start to mix everything. For meatballs, I really ballpark ingredients. I don't really feel like you have to measure too much. That's a little bit of my philosophy for meatballs. I basically need the meatball meat that I've created, and I take little bits of meat and roll it into golf ball sized pieces. I heat a saute pan up over medium-low heat. I add olive oil. Once it is hot and shimmering, I add meatballs. I like to cook the meatballs for about a minute or so on each side. I'm primarily trying to brown them and start cooking them. The meatballs will finish cooking in the sauce. I cooked mine for a little bit longer, so they're a little darker brown than a minute would normally be. They have a little bit of a crust to them, but I do like that texturally. Once most of the pink, if not all of the pink, is no longer visible on the outside of the meatballs, I add the meatballs into the sauce to finish cooking. I give the sauce a nice stir to make sure all the meatballs are coated in the sauce. I'll stir it occasionally going forward. And I bring a pot of salted water up to a boil, and I add a 1 pound package of angel hair pasta and cook it for 2 minutes. Angel hair pasta cooks super quick. I remove the pasta from the water and place it in a bowl. I was gonna cook more pasta, but realized a pound of angel hair pasta is more than enough. I take about a half a cup of pasta water and add it into the sauce and mix it well. I take some of the sauce from the meatballs and sauce, add it into the pasta, and I coat the pasta by stirring it. I like to use tongs to really circulate the sauce among all the pieces of pasta. And now it's time to plate because it's time to eat. I take a generous helping of pasta, because this is my favorite pasta, and I add it to a plate. I cover it with some more sauce, a few meatballs, maybe some grated Parmesan cheese, whatever you want, and that's Meatballs. Thanks for joining me today. I make new videos on cooking every Wednesday. Please support me on Patreon and on Facebook at Mirabella's Kitchen.